In the pre-dawn hours along a contested sector of the front line, a small, highly mobile Ukrainian formation reportedly used first-person view FPV attack drones to ambush and disable an advancing column of motorcycle-mounted troops, sources close to the unit said. The action is described by witnesses as a fast, brutal clash in which the combination of human reconnaissance and low-cost aerial strike drones tipped a local engagement decisively in favor of the defenders. The unit at the center of the report is identified in battlefield messages as the 12th Azov Brigade. According to the accounts that circulated among local journalists and social channels, a scouting team detected the movement of a Russian motorcycle group attempting to infiltrate a secondary road used for resupply and small unit maneuver. Within minutes, a pair of FPV team's operators piloting nimble, camera-equipped strike drones were dispatched to intercept. FPV drones, small, fast, and flown like racing quadcopters while streaming a front-facing camera to an operator's goggles, have been used increasingly in recent conflicts as precision harassment and strike platforms. In this reported action, their speed and maneuverability reportedly allowed them to track the motorcycles through narrow country lanes and engage individual riders and light vehicles at close range. Everything happened very fast. A person described as a local volunteer medic told a reporter who later compiled local accounts. There was the sound of engines, then a flash in the sky, then the column scattered. We found wreckage and burned bikes along the road. The drone pilots were on the ground directing strikes. Independent verification of casualty figures and the exact course of the engagement was not available to this newsroom at the time of writing. The fog of war, local communications blackouts, and the risk of misinformation on social platforms mean many initial battlefield claims remain unconfirmed. Analysts have increasingly stressed that FPV systems are not, by themselves, a silver bullet. Their effectiveness depends on integration with reconnaissance, local intelligence, and rapid decision-making. In this report, the success attributed to the defenders stems from a combination of timely detection of the threat, pre-positioned drone teams, and small unit tactics that exploited terrain and surprise. A field commander, speaking on condition of anonymity, emphasized that the engagement was the result of training and coordination rather than technology alone. You can have the best drone in the world, but if it's not cued to the right target and the people on the ground aren't ready to take advantage, it won't change a thing, the commander said. This was ambush, pure and simple. Find them, fix them, then hit them before they can disperse. Local medical volunteers reported treating several wounded combatants and civilians in the hours after the clash, with nearby villages reporting smoke and burned wreckage along the road. Whether the motorcycle column was acting as a reconnaissance screen, a fast reaction force, or an ad hoc transport group was not clear from initial reports.
Гранату закинь!
The psychological impact of seeing fast-orbiting drones with aggressive intent also featured in several accounts. Residents described how the presence of FPV craft, visibly more agile than typical surveillance quadcopters, changed how small teams moved, often forcing them to abandon exposed routes or delay operations until cover could be secured. Even in isolation, incidents like the one reported here underline a broader shift in modern low-intensity combat. Cheap, commercially available technologies, when married to adapted tactics, can inflict outsized effects on traditional formations. Light, high-mobility forces that rely on roads and trails may find themselves increasingly vulnerable to small, autonomous, or semi-autonomous aerial threats that deny freedom of movement at the tactical level. For defenders, the lesson is equally clear. Distributed, rapid response capabilities focused on detection and immediate engagement can multiply the effect of limited resources. For attackers, it suggests the need for tighter concealment, electronic countermeasures, and revised movement techniques to reduce predictability. Here, Ukrainian forces unleashed the full power of their long-range strike arsenal in a coordinated campaign to dismantle Russia's Pokrovsk offensive before they can reorganize and regroup. Destroying one Russian base after another, as well as troop concentrations and supply routes, they shattered the enemy's buildup, paving the way for Ukrainian infantry to advance. Despite already massive losses and several pockets of encircled troops in the Dobropilya salient, the Russians are trying to salvage the Pokrovsk disaster in the only way they know how, by deploying even more infantry and making it bigger. To break the final will of the Russian 51st Combined Arms Army, Ukrainian long-range strike units are going to work, combining the efforts of HIMARS, artillery, drones, and aviation to eliminate all reserves the Russians bring into the area. One video shows a Russian motorcycle assault group trying to gather under tree cover near a road, but seconds later, HIMARS fire reduces them to burning wreckage. Another video shows Ukrainian fighter jets dropping 2 high-precision bombs, obliterating a building used both as a command post and a troop assembly area, killing everyone inside. Near Uspinivka, a Su-27 was led by drone reconnaissance and targeted stormtroopers preparing for an attack with JDAM bombs, wiping them out in an instant. Further north in Udachny, another wave of JDAM strikes eliminated 2 Russian groups massing for a push. Another proof that Ukrainian aviation is relentlessly hunting Russian buildup sites. The desperate situation has forced Russians to push artillery forward much further in hopes of disrupting Ukrainian logistics and reinforcements coming in. But this overextension has proven catastrophic yet again. South of Pokrovsk, a Ukrainian counter-battery strike destroyed a D-30 howitzer and its ammunition stockpile. 20 kilometers deeper, a BM-27 Uragan MLRS, trying to change positions, was tracked and obliterated by a Ukrainian drone strike. East of Pokrovsk, drone surveillance caught a truck delivering shells to an artillery position.
A
HIMARS rocket struck precisely as the ammunition was unloaded to maximize damage, causing a massive secondary detonation that annihilated the crew, the truck, and the artillery system. Russian attempts to rely on air support also backfired south of Pokrovsk, when an Mi-8 helicopter tried to deliver supplies to ground units but was intercepted by Ukrainian FPV drones. A second Ukrainian drone confirmed the crash site, showing the burning wreck and the lack of survivors, with Russians claiming at least some of the crew managed to survive. This marked the first confirmed case of an FPV drone striking a flying Russian helicopter, and it shows how desperate the situation for Russian logistics is becoming if they are ready to risk expensive helicopters to deliver supplies to the front.